them to join using the link to the webinar, or they can actually stream this live on YouTube. So if you just if you go to YouTube and you search for Dave Alishe, you would be able to see us on YouTube as well, and they will be able to join in the conversation. Once again, thank you everybody for joining in. Somebody said the chat is disabled, but we can see your chat. You may not be able to see for others, but we can see. So yeah, if you use that question and answer to just type where you're connected from, that would be great. Exactly what you've done, Gillian. Gillian, good to see you. Thank you. Thank you. See you guys. Awesome. I see somebody connected from Maryland, Racist Town. Oluwasegun, thank you. Alfred is connected from the UK. Awesome. Daniel from Atlanta, Georgia. Fantastic. Somebody's joining from Nebraska. Thank you. Thank you, Ken, from Pennsylvania. I see Gloria from Maryland. Great to see you, Gillian, from North Carolina. Abisola from Maryland. Awesome. Fantastic. I see Ola from Houston. Funke from Canada. Funke. All right, let's keep the joke, okay? Abigail from Owen Mills. Thank you, Abigail. Good to see you. Jennifer from Washington. I don't know if that is Washington State or that is Washington, D.C. But thank you. I see John from Barcelona, Spain. Awesome. Thank you, guys. Thank you all so much. Sonia from Maryland. Lovely. I see a Dio from Parkville, Maryland. Absolutely amazing. You guys are just so fantastic. Now I want to encourage you or appeal to you to please share the link with anybody that you think will benefit from this. Either you forward the Zoom link to them or you just ask them to go on YouTube and just search for Dave Alishe, my name on YouTube, and then they can stream live on it. But I see Roman Victor from Houston, Texas. Thank you all so much. Thank you. All right, let's try to get to this and just share a few thoughts. First of all, let me start by saying that this is not a motivational seminar, right? And not because anything is wrong with motivation, but I think it's because it has been abused quite a bit, and people just have some of phobia for anything motivational speaking. In fact, I have a few of my friends that will say, aspire to perspire. That is the way they joke about it because of all the things. But I want to assure you that this is something that is going to transform your thinking. I'm talking about thinking, you know, one of the reasons why I decided to do this is because I've seen how much limitation thinking can put on a person without them even knowing that there's limitation. So let me share a story with you. And this was something that was done by some scientists that were trying some experiments. They put some ants in a bottle, and those ants, they put a lid over those ants. I read this so many years ago, but very powerful lesson there. So what happened is that those ants would try to climb to the top of that jar in order to be able to escape. But once they get to the lid of the jar, then they eat that lid and they drop back to the bottom of the bottle. And so these ants did that a few times, get to the lid, drop down, get to the lid, drop down. And then after some time, the scientists removed the lid. from the top of the bottom of the bottle of the jar. And something very interesting happened. The ants will still climb that jar to get out of it. But once they get to the top of the jar with the lid on it, even though the lid is no longer there, the ants will drop down. Wow. So they began to research why the ants' behavior did not change, even though the circumstances have changed. The truth is that the human mind is powerful. And I want to discuss that a little bit today. How many of us are actually living with a lid covering us, such that even though the lid is now removed, there's freedom, so to speak, but we still climb to the top of the bottom, and without any hindrance or any limitation, we just drop back to the bottom of it. That is what it means for people to get stuck. Getting stuck and unstuck is really what the conversation today is about. So I want you to get ready. Again, if you share this with your friends or with the people in your circle, your friends, your closest family members, people that contribute a lot to your life, they need to listen to this, because you all will be able to achieve your success faster. You'll be able to move faster and farther if everybody within your circle think the same way that you think, and nobody is pulling you down. All right. Let's look at a few statistics as we come to the end of the year and we are planning to the new year. Don't forget again, the conversation today is about the mindset. And this is not motivational speaking. This is about just changing the way you think in order for us to achieve exponential success. So what happens at the end of the year like this? A lot of us, we reflect on how the year has been, and then we want to plan in the new year to see what the new year holds in stock for us. So let's consider a few statistics that I want to show you, okay? The first one, and I know that's going to come on my screen very quick, very shortly. The first one is that about 38 to 45% of adults in the United States, now we don't have data in some other parts of the world, but in the United States, we have some data. And I would imagine that the same would apply in the different parts of the world. So let's use the United States data, okay? This is very interesting. Now you can see it on my screen. About 38 to 45% of adults in the United States make New Year resolutions. I'm sure you agree with that. New Year resolutions. I will not do this. I will do this. Fantastic. We set goals. It is interesting to note, when I was doing this research, it's kind of opened my eyes to some of the things that I didn't know before, that the highest amount of goals that people said, the ones that scored the highest is goals about people's health and fitness. And no wonder the fitness centers and the gym, they record the highest number of subscriptions at the beginning of the year. But I'm sure there are some of us here, maybe myself inclusive, that have joined a gym, New Year resolution, and then after a few weeks, people say that the gym becomes empty again. At the beginning of the year, the gyms look packed because of people's resolution. And then people just say, just chill. Don't worry. Give them a few weeks. They will disappear. But again, health and fitness was the highest. And then finances. People set goals, and those are powerful. In fact, today, I'm going to encourage you to set some powerful goals, because there's absolutely nothing wrong with it. It's just the mind shift from not just setting goals, but being able to execute them for exponential results. That's why we came to this seminar, to learn. Then people set goals about their relationships. Oh, I know, relationships. Then personal development. Let me not touch on that relationship one, okay? So I don't shake some tables. But let's talk about the other statistics that I saw. Now, listen to this. I told you that people go to gym. So if you look at the second point of my screen, 39% of those resolutions relate to health and fitness, yeah, with gym membership skyrocketing by at least 15 to 20, 12 to 15%. But look at the third point. It says studies show that 23% of the people quit their resolutions within the first week. Guys, I didn't say the first month, the first week. You remember the story that I told earlier? The ant climbing to the top of the jar and then gets to the lid and drops. In 1 week, 23%. Dating apps report that 20 to 25% increase in sign-ups. I didn't want to talk about relationship, but this one, I could not but put it on my statistics. 20 to 25% of relationships. In fact, they have a name for it. They call it dating Sunday. No, not Sunday as the day of the week, but just the attitude. The first few weeks of a new year, everybody's on dating apps. Look at the next one. In 2022, I couldn't get the data for 2023, but in 2022, US holiday spending towards the end of the year, meaning as the year is wrapping up now, US says in 2022, 942 billion US dollars was spent by people as on holidays, vacations, and then planning into the new year. But January sees a spike in budgeting apps. Everybody's on budgeting apps after spending 942 billion in December. You see, the question is, why didn't they download the app before they spend the money? But again, let's look at this. 64% increase in stress levels during the holiday season, while the mental health app downloads also surge in January. Fantastic insight. Why did I show you these statistics? Why are they important? Because there is that natural response of people that at the end of the year like this, we not only reflect, but it gives us fantastic opportunity to do a reset for the new year. And that's why I called this session Achieving Exponential Results in 2025. We want to make 2025 a different year, but we're going to do it by a shift in our mindset. So I have an exercise. I have something that I want you to do. I want you to imagine, picture yourself, and I need everybody to do this. I want you to picture yourself in a gathering by the end of 2025. Just picture yourself at the end of 2025, okay? And in that picture, you see your loved ones. Imagine those people that would be in that closely knit gathering. Your friends, your family members, your business associates, maybe your partners. Just imagine it. I want you, if possible, I want you to close your eyes. It's an exercise, guys, that I want you to do. I want you to just close your eyes and imagine it. Imagine somebody smiling, somebody laughing. Just imagine those people in that room just celebrating the end of 2025, this time next year. Now I want you to think about them celebrating you. Just imagine people just saying, congratulations, congratulations, congratulations. Imagine people coming to shake your hands. In fact, imagine them bringing gifts to you. I want you to do that exercise, guys. That is why we came here, right? Imagine them bringing gifts to you and just saying, congratulations. Oh, we're so proud of you. Oh, you have done an amazing work this year. Can you all see the picture? Fantastic. Now, I have a question for you while you are imagining that picture. What stories would you imagine, and this is the hard part, that they are sharing about how you have inspired them? What stories? What are they congratulating you for? If I were to ask that, what are the 3 things that you would feel most grateful for the year, what would it be? 3 things. Again, this is playing with your imagination. Don't imagine any obstacles. Don't imagine any restrictions. Don't imagine any lid covering the jar right now. I want you to just imagine it. What would be the 3 great, important things that you are most grateful for? Is it the purchase of a new home or a new job? Or you starting your business and somebody coming to congratulate you or to do business with you? Or you just cutting the tape of somebody? It is ringing the wedding bells. What would be the most important things to you that you're grateful, that you would be grateful for? I want you to write it down at some point. Okay? But I have a few other questions for you. If you were to reduce the list from 3 to 1, what would be that one thing? If we were to reduce the list from 3, I told you first to write 3 things. If we were to move from 3 things to 1 thing, what will that be? What would be the most significant thing? Because that will be your exponential results, my friend. What will be the most significant thing that will happen to you in 2025 that you feel, yes, I did it? Let me ask the question in a different way. What will you be most proud of? Getting harder, right? Let me ask another one. By the end of 2025, what will a perfect day look like for you? Will it be waking up at 6 a.m. or will it be at 8 a.m.? Will it be taking a walk or going to the gym? I see somebody just, imagine now, waking up beside someone you love. I feel you, man. What would a perfect day look like to you? All right, somebody grabbed their car keys, right? And then went to work, and then see people that work with you. Not the one that currently work with you that don't greet each other, okay? The new ones that you love working with them. What would a perfect day look like? After work, what will it be? Nice. Who are you surrounded by? Some of you need to change your friends and your acquaintances in 2025. But again, let me not jump ahead of myself. Who are the people that you're surrounded by? Will it be the same set of people today? How would you feel emotionally and spiritually? Your spiritual health is absolutely important. And then I asked you earlier, what would others be saying about the impact you've made in 2025? You see, if you are able to do this exercise, you have already gone 50% in achieving exponential results in 2025. But I know it's hard. So the real question is, how can I walk through this without no limitations in my mind? So I'm going to share with you 5 steps that I believe are going to help you as we achieve exponential result in 2025. Then I will give some time to take questions and answers, okay? So let's look at 5 things. Number 1 step is that you need to frame the vision in your mind. You need to frame the vision. That's the first step. You need to frame the vision. Now let's talk about framing the vision 1 minute. Let's talk about framing the vision, right? I'm not sure if you recall the time in your life where you had exponential growth. You would agree with me that they didn't come by accident, right? It started first with a dream. And I'll talk about the power of a vision in a minute. The exercise that I gave you guys earlier, you remember that exercise to just imagine Why is vision very powerful? In my opinion, in fact, as a leader, leading an organization or leading a family or just leading yourself, vision is perhaps the most important because vision is where it starts from. The ability to see things that do not exist while it doesn't exist, yet being real to you as though it's existed. You know, I was reading and listening to the story of Walt Disney. Walt Disney is a great man, was a great man. And we all know Disney World today, right? But I heard the story that Walt Disney once took a friend of his to outside of town in California. And they did the same thing in Florida. We are all familiar with Disney World in Florida. Beautiful place. Called it the Magic World. So he took his friend, they drove to outside of town, and he was telling his friend how he's going to create a place for family members to fly from different parts of the world to come and to spend time with family and just enjoy family time. And so he said to his friend, said, if I were you, my friend, I will start buying lands around this place to build hotels or to rent it out to hotels. He said, because, you know, when family come from every part of the world, they will need a place to stay. So the friend looked at him and said, so you want me to join your madness? You want me to join this madness? I am not interested in joining this madness. But the friend eventually wrote, after Walt Disney passed, and Disney World became a reality, that in his mind, he could see everything before they came to be. So vision is the ability to see people, to see places, to see things, not just the way they are, but the way they could be. Vision and imagination go hand in hand. Imagination, I like to define it as the ability to leave the present, go into the future, to see what the future looks like, then come back to the present to prepare to go back into that future. Powerful, powerful, powerful. The power to think of things that do not currently exist as though that they currently do. Wow. Why is that powerful? Let me share with you a very powerful principle to bring this home, and then I will move to the next step, okay? You see, scientists have proven that there are two parts of our brain, the conscious one and the unconscious one, right? The best way for me to describe it, would be to talk about when you are driving, Meanwhile, I should mention quickly that while the conscious one are the things that we can see, right? The things that we can do consciously, the subconscious one controls our life, even though it is subconscious. Let me bring it up to you, right? Imagine when you started learning how to drive, and I'll tell you why this is important as we move into 2025. Imagine when you started to drive, right? You had to pay attention to every little thing, right? I remember when I drove, they told me I needed to look straight ahead, not the steering. I was always tempted to look at the steering and see where I'm turning it to. And then because I learned how to drive with manual transmission, God bless all of you that drive automatic, and I learned how to drive with automatic transmission. But you don't know how to drive, I'm sorry to say. The real drivers are the people that learn with manual transmission, that you have to engage the clutch and the gas pedal and the brakes all at the same time and be able to move the gear from 1 to 2 to reverse to neutral. I know some of you know what I'm talking about. You can put in the chat room if you guys know what I'm talking about, okay? But powerful, powerful principle there. So I used to look at the steering, and then they would tell me to engage the gear to 2, my instructor. And then I will look down to see where the 2 is so that I can put it. And he will say, no, don't look down. Keep looking up. Hey, voila. Still work. And then he will say, engage the clutch and then engage the clutch and then change it to gear 3. So I said, let me look down so that, and then I remember one day he said to me, he said, don't look down. I said, how will I know if I'm pressing the brake or the gas pedal when I'm supposed to? He said, no, you need to be able to know where each of those pedals are and to be able to engage it. So I had to engage a lot of my mental faculty, my conscious mind, to know where the brake was, where the clutch was, where the gas pedal is, to know where the gears are, and mastered all of those. In fact, I remember that if somebody greeted me on the road, I would not know. In fact, sometimes people say, oh, I saw you driving, I was waving at you. Me? Hey, me that I was focusing on where I was going. I could not tell. And I'm sure that happened to a lot of us. In fact, when I got home, I will be sleeping and I'll be thinking of driving. Yeah? Cool. But what happened? Something powerful happened after some time. It got better that when I now drive, I tell my mind where I'm going to. And then while I'm driving now, I can be listening to a podcast or listening to music or being on the phone with someone. At the same time, I am waving to somebody by the side. At the same time, I could even be thinking about my meeting or what it is that I wanted to do. And I'm sure a lot of you are in the same place. What happened? What happened after some time is that I delegated the driving to my subconscious mind. So now I'm not actively driving anymore. My subconscious mind has taken the driving completely away from me, that now I can use my conscious mind to now think about other things while my subconscious mind is my driver. Do you all understand what I'm saying? Ooh. As simple as that analogy is, the truth is that 95% of our life is controlled by our subconscious. And that's the reason why the story that I shared earlier of the scientist looking at the ants that will climb to the top of the jar and drop is very real. What had happened was that when the ants started, they started with a conscious mind to escape. But because they have met failure repeatedly, or the limitation of their environment limited them a few times, their subconscious mind took over, that even when the lid was taken off, they get to the top of the jar and they drop, because the subconscious mind is like a computer program. Ooh. Guys, if you heard what I just said, the truth is, if I look into your subconscious mind today, I could either see success or I can see failure. You know, the most dangerous thing about this is that a lot of us are not even aware what is in our subconscious mind. So a seminar like this, what it does is that it formats our subconscious mind and intentionally changes some of the way we think in order for us to be able to reprogram the subconscious mind. Because what happens is that if the subconscious mind have enough success, the same way that when I'm driving now, my subconscious mind is my driver. While I'm using my conscious mind for something else, you can program your subconscious for success. That way, success becomes automated. Exponential results become automated, while you can use your conscious mind to reimagine and engage new exponential results and start feeding from your conscious to your subconscious, from your conscious to your subconscious, and eventually your subconscious mind replicates the success. Ooh. Let me use another example. You see the guy that Walt Disney took, and the guy wrote later to say Walt Disney saw everything. The question is, where did he see it? He saw it in his mind. So there are two types of eyes. There's the physical eyes that we see, And then there's the mind eyes. So there's inner eyes, as it were, and then there's outward eyes. The powerful lesson here is that the outward eyes is not the most important. Ooh, I wish somebody got that. I'll say it again. The outward eyes, our sight, is not the most important. Let me bring it up for you. You see these eyes that we have, and thank God for our eyes, right? It is only for gathering information. It's for data gathering. What do you mean? Now think about it. Every time you see something, you know you have to send that signal to your mind. You don't know that it's happening, but every time you see something, your mind needs to process it, and then your mind will send signal back to the eyes and tell the eyes what to do with that information. Guys, this principle will change your life, I promise you. And that's the whole point of this seminar. So our eyes gather information. Let me give you an example that will bring it up to you. Have you ever imagined or desired to buy a particular type of car? Let's say a red Honda or Toyota, particular model. And then you get on the road and you start seeing the car. Anybody ever experienced that? Ooh, I'm sure a lot of you have experienced that. Now, if you guys want to engage with me, just go to the Q&A section and just put in your comments so that I know you are following, okay? Don't worry, I know it's question and answers, but we'll still use it for questions, but just put it in there so that I'm able to see and see that you guys are following. Now, listen to this, guys. You go on the road and you start seeing red car, red car, red car, red car, red car. In fact, you may tell your friend or your family member to say, it seems like everybody is buying this car. This car is all over town, right? All of you, anybody ever experienced that before? Absolutely. You start seeing the car all over the place. But you agree with me that the truth is that that car has always been on the road. You just didn't see it. Ooh, that's powerful. Why didn't you see it on the road? You didn't see it because your mind wasn't looking for it. Ooh, that's another powerful one right there. Your mind wasn't looking for it. So it means that your eyes is seeing a lot of data, a lot of information, right? But until your mind tells your eyes what it's looking for, your eyes is only gathering data, but not processing data. Gosh. Now, listen to this, guys. And this will change your life. How many opportunities are out there in the world that are on the street every day, but your eyes can only see it, your mind is not interpreting it? Your mind is powerful. And again, that is why I told you to do the exercise that I gave you earlier, which is first, you need to put it in your subconscious, and then your subconscious will delegate it. So what are the 5 steps that I wanted to talk about as I begin to wrap this up, and then I'll be able to take some questions. Number 1, you need to frame the vision. What would 2025 look for you? What would a perfect day look like? I want you to imagine it like I asked you to do the first time earlier in this session. Number 2 step is that I want you to write down what number 1 would look like. That's another missing link, guys. Some of us have done this exercise before, but we never wrote it down. I want you to write it down. And when you write it down, don't forget, we're talking about exponential results in 2025. I want you to write it down. And when you write it down, I want you to write it in present tense. Yeah, present tense. Let me tell you what it look like, for example. I want you to write something like, in present tense or present continuous tense, something like, I am running multiple businesses in 2025. In fact, make it specific. Say I'm running 4 businesses in 2025 with gross revenue of, say, 10 million, 20 million, 1 million, or 100,000, whatever the number is. I want you to write it down in that present tense. Again, These are steps to exponential result. Number one, to frame the vision. Number two, to write it down in present tense. Somebody may write something like, I am in a beautiful love relationship with someone who loves me. Maybe you even have the name of the person. With somebody who loves me for who I am. We both love each other and we enjoy each other's company. I want you to write it down in present tense. Again, we are projecting to the end of 2025. In order to achieve exponential results, that's what we're doing. Write it down in present tense. Somebody may write something like, I am helping my parents and my family members. I'm helping them better by paying some of their bills. I want you to write it down if that's a significant thing for you for 2025. In present tense, guys, don't forget, in present tense. I want somebody to write, or maybe somebody will write, I am more engaged or more active with my children or with my spouse's business or with my spouse's career, and I'm supporting them by helping them to do 1, 2, 3, 4 things. I want you to write it down in present tense. Somebody else may write something about their health. Since health and fitness goals seems to score highest in when people set resolutions every year. So somebody can write something like, I have good health, I have less visits to the hospital, my blood pressure is good, my blood sugar is great. Write it in present tense, guys. I want you to start imagining what life will look like without having to go to the hospital frequently or to take a lot of medication. Again, guys, these are powerful steps. You know the reason why people don't get results? Because people don't do these things. So I want you to write it down. Okay? Now that's number two. Now, as you are writing it down, I know for some of you, there's so much warmth welling in your heart right now. Powerful, I love it. But I also know there are some people that as you are writing it down, it feels like your mind is rejecting it. Do I have any witness to that? Anybody ever felt like it? Like, if some of you, as you wanted to write that 20 million, your mind said, you're a thief. That's not the number. Your mind was rejecting it, right? That would be my number three step. Anyone amongst the number two that you were writing and that your mind struggled with, check if you overdid it. Hey, and that's a powerful one. You know, sometimes people talk about goals, and I know I did some podcasts not too long ago. And for those of you that don't follow me on Instagram, I want you to go look for me on Instagram. Dave Alishe, that's my name. Look for me on Instagram, Dave Alishe Official. I beg your pardon. And just follow me. You see some powerful videos, 1-minute video that I do on my Instagram post. And I was talking about how people think goals sometimes have to be something so big, so massive. And people sometimes overdo it that they now fall short of it. There is no point, I said in one of those podcasts on my Instagram page, there's no point setting the goals for somebody, for example, who is currently crawling. Now you want to set goals for flying. For somebody who is currently making, say, 50,000 per annum, you don't want to set goals to making 1 million per annum. Your mind will reject it. The best goal for someone who is currently crawling will be the goal to take their first step. Yeah, I said it. And again, I told you this is not motivational seminar, right? Aspire to perspire, we tell you, you can even fly or disappear. But no, I don't want you to do that. I want you to set it in steps, incrementally. So if your mind reacted to it, perhaps you need to check it. For example, I said in that one of those podcasts on my Instagram page that a goal for somebody may be to resign from their job. And I know that sounds weird and stupid. But for somebody, it may just be to focus on their mental health and just take a break. Yeah, I'm telling you, that is a powerful goal for somebody. What that leads me to something very important that I also said in one of those podcasts on my Instagram page, guys. Your goals should not be in competition with somebody else. That is where people miss it. Your friend is making $200,000. So you set your goal from you currently making $20,000 or $30,000 to now want to make $250,000. Guys, we are all in individual races, individual life, and you just focus on your focus and focus on your lane. Your friends can inspire you, quite all right, but you should not set your goals based on the goals of your friend. Does everybody understand that? Powerful. So number 3 step is that your mind has to resonate with it. Set incremental goals, right? If your mind cannot take $100,000, for example, how about we start with 50,000? If your mind cannot take a brand new Mercedes, how about your mind taking a pre-owned? If you cannot take a 2024 model, how about a 2022 model? That's number 3 step. Number 4, I told you I have 5 for you, and I begin to wrap it up so that we can take some questions, okay? Number 4, whatever goal you have now written, again, don't forget number 1 is to frame the vision. I talked about the power of vision. Number 2, I say you should write it down in present tense. Number 3, I say you should look back to see if it resonates with your mind. Number 4, let me give you something about number 3 real quick. You know, when I wanted to move from an apartment complex, I knew that ultimately I wanted a single family home, but my mind could not take it. So I wrote a townhouse. I wrote a townhouse. And I'll tell you something amazing that happened, right? From a 3-bedroom apartment to a townhouse. That felt like something my mind could do. But I will tell you something that is powerful that your mind can now do once it has stayed in your mind, and I'll speak to it in number 4. I'll tell you what I did with number 4. When I wanted to move from apartment complex to a town, I told you single family, my mind was rejecting it. So I wrote townhouse, right? But I now used to drive to places where there are beautiful townhouses. I was working night shifts, right? So when I'm driving home in the morning, before going home, I would drive to places where there are beautiful townhouses, and I would just be looking at those townhouses, watching people come out and go in, and I would just used to smile and just imagining it. What was I doing? I was reconditioning my mind. I will tell you what has happened, guys. Eventually, I contacted a real estate agent. In fact, I remember I filled some forms. In fact, I remember I paid application fee, dropped the bank statement, they pulled my credit, did all of that. But one of the agents said to me that, well, why are you trying to rent a townhouse when you can buy one? I said, what? You mean I can buy one? Say, yes, you can buy one. Guys, fast forward a few months later, I bought my first townhouse. The point I'm trying to make is this, guys. I set the goal to rent a townhouse. My mind could believe it. I now did my number 4 step, which is to put pictures and images of what I've written down consistently in my face. And the way the mind works is that the mind has a multiplier effect. I didn't rent a townhouse, I bought one. So number 4 step, put intentional, deliberate images before you. Guys, what does that mean? So if you are thinking of relationship, or whatever it is that you have written down, I want you to go online after this webinar today and look for pictures of it and download it, print it out if you can, and paste it everywhere. I call it the vision board. Every single person that wants exponential results in 2025, don't forget, it cannot be accidental. You have to build it, you have to create it, you have to make it happen. You must take these steps. You need to get a vision board. My vision board, I have things there. Somebody needs to write themselves a check, right? Write yourself a check. That amount that you're talking about, write it on the check, paste it on your vision board. Powerful. Powerful. Somebody needs to take a picture of wedding or whatever you are trusting for 2025 and put that picture on your dashboard in your car. If you drive a lot, put it in your car. While you are doing You remember the analogy of the ants that I mentioned earlier? You remember the analogy of the red car or the green Mercedes effect that I spoke about? You are intentionally telling your subconscious mind what to think about. Once it enters into that subconscious mind, your subconscious mind will produce it. That is what we're doing here, guys. That is exponential result. I want you to download the images and put it on your vision board, put it on your wall, put it, in fact, one of my mentors, let me tell you what one of my mentors said he did. One of my mentors said he posted the picture at the ceiling of his house, of his bedroom, so that whenever he wakes up out of sleep, the first thing he sees is the picture. So I love that one. You need to get those mental images, pictures. When I wanted to buy a new house, a bigger property, one of the things that I did was to get a picture of what that house would look like, and I put it as a screensaver on my phone. Yeah, my phone screensaver is always changing, depending on what I'm imagining. Because I use my phone a lot for work. I put the screensaver there. I put it on my wall. Eventually, when we bought the house, and I was telling my wife, hold on. We did eventually bought a different house from the one that we wanted to buy. Why? Because we wanted to buy, something just didn't work out. So the person said, well, I have another one. It's bigger. It's more expensive though. Would you like to see it? We said yes. So it was accidental purchase. We looked at it, we liked it. We said, yes, let's go for it. But what I didn't realize a few weeks later was that I looked at my phone, and then I saw the house, and I felt like everything I wrote or the picture of the house on my phone is the picture of the house that we bought. Powerful, powerful. I was looking to buy certain number of bedroom in the town, in the single family house. We eventually found out that we bought accidentally the one that we have the picture on the phone. So number 4, take a picture of it and put it strategically around you. Number five, and this is where I'm going to stop. You need to find one person or two persons that will support you on this journey and hold you accountable. Hey, I strongly recommend getting a mentor. Strongly recommend getting a mentor. Why? That can hold you accountable on this path. Why is a mentor important? I'll tell you 3 things that a mentor does for you. Number 1, a mentor helps you to catch your blind spots. The things that you cannot see. You know, everybody has blind spots. Even your cars today, the newer cars, they are made intelligently that your cars can catch your blind spots. When you want to make a shift, your blind spot on the side mirror of the car will start blinking to tell you there's something. If you think you don't have a blind spot, you're already setting yourself up for failure. You do. I promise you. We all do. And you must have people in your lives that are able to catch your blind spot. Number 2 thing that a mentor does for you is that it mentions your name and brings you into rooms where you could not be by yourself. Wow. In my mentorship program this year, I had about 20-something people in that mentorship program, and I was meeting with them consistently every month. One of the things that I said to them was that I wanted to introduce them to the powerful people in my life that I've met, that have added a lot of value to me, and I wanted to introduce them to. So people around, my mentors, people that were my financial advisors, people that are my tax consultants, I will bring them into the meeting, joint calls with them, and introduce them to these guys. Powerful, because that's what mentorship does for you. Number 3, mentors expose you to bigger dreams. There is a saying where I came from that a child who has not visited another person's farm thinks his father's farm is the biggest in the city. It's true. Mentors exposes you to bigger dreams. You will see bigger visions. Once your mind is able to see bigger things, your mind can conceive it. The reason why some of you, your mind was rejecting the 10 million or rejecting the 20 million or some of the things that you wrote earlier is because you have not seen it enough. Mentors will help expose your mind to it. Mentors will also celebrate your success and help you to manage your weakness. Now, when you find that mentor, what are the questions? Let me give you this one, bonus, free of charge. If you can take a screenshot on my screen real quick because I'm not going to dwell on it. A few questions that you can ask your mentors or that you can ask people that you're accountable to. Number one, what is the greatest leadership lesson you've ever learned? Let your mentor tell you their stories. Number two, ask them, what are you learning right now? I love that one. I ask my mentors all the time. Well, in fact, let me tell you another thing. I ask my mentors that is not here. I ask them, what movies are you currently watching? What books are you currently reading? Because I know if I can expose myself to the type of information that they have, I can achieve the exponential result that they are getting. I want you to take a screenshot of this one, free of charge, right? Number three, ask them, how has failure shaped your life? In fact, I'll take it further by asking my mentors, what is your most recent failure story? Because people learn more in failures than in success. I promise you. So they share that with me. Number four, I want you to write, who do you know that I should know? I love this one. My mentors always laugh whenever I ask them this one. Who do you know that I should know? And that's what I did for the people in my mentorship program this year, 2024. And I have a new one starting in 2025 that I'm going to introduce to you in a bit. Yes, why do I do mentorship program? I'll tell you in a minute. The reason is because I have been in certain rooms that I never thought I could get into, but I had to pay a lot of money to get into those rooms. Wow, I'm telling you. In 1 year, I spent over 100,000 on mentorship programs. In 1 year alone, over 100,000 mentorship programs. Just paying people to be able to get to sit with them or to be able to be in certain rooms with them. I know a lot of people cannot afford that kind of money for mentorship program. You mean for seminars? You mean for programs to pay 100,000? Yeah, several of them. In fact, there was one program that costed about $27,000. Now go and Google it, Anthony Robbins. To get into Tony Robbins' mentorship program, you pay a lot of money. Those are some of the guys that I follow. Dave Ramsey. Some of you know Dave Ramsey, fantastic guy, right? John Maxwell. John Maxwell is my mentor, he's my coach. Shall I tell you more? No. Go and come and join my mentorship program and I'll tell you more. But again, if you ask them, so what I did is that, how about the things that I'm learning in these big rooms with these great guys? How about I create something that I can now share with people that cannot afford to pay this kind of money? That's the real motivation for my mentorship program. So I tell them, I want to die empty. I want to share everything I know. I want to expose them to everybody I know. I want them to read all the books or the most important books that I've read. And those are the things that we do in my mentorship program. But watch this. So number 5, what have you read that I should read? Number 6, I asked them, what have you done that I should do? What mistakes did you make that I should never make? Number 7, I asked them, what question should I have asked you that I didn't ask? That one, it's always very interesting to discuss. So I said to them now that, and sometimes I just take people out for lunch or dinner. I pay for the dinner. I make them choose the restaurant that they want to go to. I pay for it. And by the way, I always take gifts with me. Yeah, but I'll talk about that one later. You can't get the best of a mentor if you do not give into their lives and honor them. But that's another conversation for another day. I take certain gifts to them and I say, sir, so I haven't discussed in the last 1 hour or 2 hours. Are there any questions that I should ask that I haven't asked? I'm currently in the process of buying some business, for example, acquisition of businesses. And I met a mentor who already has, in fact, let me tell you, right? Let me tell you, I'm currently in the program to buying McDonald's, right? And I'm in a process and I'm taking the training and working in the process. Of course, they have to approve you, several stages of interviews and all of those, and eventually made it. So I get into the program, but I met a mentor who currently controls over 40 McDonald's restaurants. Powerful. One day I sat with him and I said, what should I know that I don't currently know? Or what questions should I have asked that I've not asked? He said to me, he said, if I'm going to mentor you effectively, you need to promise me that you will not buy, at the very, very least, not less than 2 to 3 restaurants at the same time. He said, don't ever buy one. said, because the you that I know, the kind of things we've discussed, you have so much potentials that you need. So, wow, that was a game changer for me, guys. Game changer, I'm telling you. Because my mind just shifted from just owning one to now owning multiples. I was with him during this last week in one of the sessions with all of his managers in the same room and just listening to the conversations. Yes, I get privileged to come into some of those rooms and just seeing the structures that they are building in the massive empire that he has built, and my mind just kept popping. That's what mentors do. Number 8, I asked my mentors, how can I add value to you? Because I know the relationship only works for as long as I'm adding value to them, right? I asked them that. Whew. Guys, I need to wrap it up. I know our time is gone. But listen to this. I want to introduce you to my mentorship program for 2025. You see, if you do all these 5 things that we've talked about today, I promise you, you will achieve those exponential results in 2025. So if you move to the next screen for me, I want you to see this video about my mentorship program, then I'll come and take questions and answers. Okay?
In 2020, Sarah was at a crossroads in her career. Stuck in a job that drained her passion, she knew she needed change. But no matter what she tried, nothing seemed to work. She applied for dozens of roles, joined networking groups, took online courses, nothing. The more effort she put in, the more frustrated and disillusioned she became. The frustration built up. It started to feel like no matter how hard she worked, she was getting nowhere. She was close to giving up until she found something that changed everything. In January 2021, Sarah saw an ad for a career development bootcamp. It promised clarity, direction, and results. It seemed too good to be true, but something told her to take a chance. She signed up. The bootcamp exceeded her expectations, but what really transformed her life was the offer to join the mentorship program that followed. Sarah decided to go all in. The next step? A one-on-one session with the mentor. After just one session, Sarah finally had the clarity she'd been searching for. The mentor didn't just give advice, they gave a roadmap. Sarah now knew exactly what to do, step by step. She followed the mentor's guidance to the letter. The results? Almost immediate. In just 2 sessions, Sarah landed a job in her preferred industry. A job that not only matched her skills, but also her passion. And the best part, her salary skyrocketed. In less than 3 years, Sarah's income has quadrupled. What once seemed impossible became her reality, all thanks to the guidance and mentorship of someone who's been there. Ready to take the next step in your career? Join the Dave Alishay Mentorship Program today and start your own success story. Your future is waiting.
Powerful, guys, powerful. So let me tell you what I do in the mentorship program, and then I will open it up with a few questions and answers. Number 1 is that access to personalized coaching. That story that you just saw in the video is one of my proteges, right? That story clearly defines what mentorship can do. Again, don't forget, exponential result in 2025, we said you need to frame the vision. Number 2, you need to write it down in present tense. Number 3, check what you have written to see if your mind agrees to it. Number 4, you need to take pictures and images and strategically place them around you. And number 5, I said you need an accountability partner, preferably a mentor who is already doing what it is that you want to do. I have a few of them. And I know I shared some of them earlier. But for those who like to join my mentorship program for January to June of 2025, 6 months, this is what we provide. Access to personalized coaching, meaning I get to sit down with you one-on-one. Let me tell you, one of the folks in my mentorship program this year, he had so much debt and he was looking for how to get out of it. In fact, I remember in one of our sessions, when we talked about the goals for the year, he said to me that one of his goals would be to move to a better apartment. I said, why not buy your own property? But he felt like something that was impossible. buy my property with this type of debt, credit card debt that I had. In one of our one-on-one sessions, I had to say, share your screen. Let's open up an Excel spreadsheet and start listing all those credit cards. And we came up with a roadmap, a plan. Well, guys, this year, it gave me so much joy when he eventually closed on his property. Powerful testimony. Powerful, powerful. I have another person in my mentorship program this year that they were living in an apartment complex and wanted their own property to just start building wealth and own their own property. Guess what? In one of our one-on-one sessions, we came up with a plan. This year, within 12 months, they have bought 2 properties. One rented, the other one they are staying in. Powerful. So there's that personalized coaching to say, let's look at your journey. Number 2, we have a community of people going the same direction. So we have this monthly one joint calls. We all come together and just share ideas or powerful concepts. That is where I also bring in some of my mentors and some of the people that I know. So I give them access to the resources, exposure to mentors, to professionals. I bring some of them into those calls, and then they are able to ask questions. We have a book club. I look for 6 powerful books that I've read, that have changed my life, and then we read it together. Guys, in fact, we even expose them to apps that they can use to summarize books. For some of you that have never read 1 book in 1 year or 10 books in 1 year, some of these guys in my mentorship program have read 12 books. Everybody has read minimum of 6 books this year, minimum. Some of them have read 12, some of them have read 20. Yeah, because we read it together. There's power in doing stuff together. And then we have an investment club for those who like to just take their money from a savings account. Like one of my mentors, Matthew Ashimono, will say savings account, not savings. Because the value of that money in a few years after that has lost value. Inflation has caught up with it. The money is no longer the 10,000 that you have in savings account. It's no longer 10,000 by the following year. Rather, we put it in investments that are yielding returns for us and continue to grow it. That is what we do in the mentorship program, right? And I know what some of you are thinking. How can I join? Can this really work for me? Well, am I even sure that this is what I need? I'll tell you this, growth isn't about perfection. It's about progress and taking next steps. So I believe that I have a flyer that will come on the screen that will show you how to register, right? Show you how to register. Just go to davealishe.com. davealishe.com. And on that website, you will see the details of that and then how you can join the mentorship program. Okay? All right. Let's, or you can just send a text. Send a text to the number. I don't know why the number is not on the screen. Let me see if I can find that flyer or that number. If one of my team members can just send it to me. And then I can, or we'll just send the details to you right after this call, okay? If you send us a text or you just go to davealishe.com, you would be able to see the details there. And let me work with you. Let me hold your hands through these 5 steps that we've spoken about. And let's make 2025 that powerful year for you. All right, let's take a few questions and answers. So if you go, I know we are out of time, but let's see if we can do this in just maybe about 6 or 7 minutes. Let me, because I promised, let me take a few questions. Is Dave one word, please? Yes, that would be D-A-V-E-A-L-E-S-E. D-A-V-E-A-L-E-S-E. D as in dog, A as in alpha, V as in Vera, E as in elephant, A as in alpha, L as in Lima, E as in echo, S as in sugar, E as in echo. DAVEALESE.com. Somebody's asking, how much does the mentorship cost? Well, the mentorship, I've made it ridiculously affordable, cheap, I should say. It is $2,000, right? For all the things that I spoke about, $2,000. Again, the motivation is to help people and not just to make profits, right? It costs $2,000, and we provided instrumental payments, right? Instrumental payment that you can make. Yeah, the screen is finally on the screen. The flyer and the details is right there. So I want you to take a screenshot of this. We make it affordable, and you can make instrumental payments. Those are the categories that you see right there on the screen. If you are making 2 payments, you can pay 125.50 twice, and that you'll be paying 2,500 instead of 2,000, right? If you pay 1,000, you will have to pay, if you want to pay 3 times, you have to pay 1,000 each time, and that will be 3,000 in total. But if you are saying, you know what, I want to save on some money and I want to make one-time payment, that will be $2,000. But guess what? Let me sweeten the deal for you a little bit. For everybody that registers within the next 1 week during this holiday season, you get 10% discount. Yeah, regardless of the category that you're doing. So if you're doing one-time payment, you get 10% discount. If you're doing the 2-time payment, you get 10% discount. If you're doing 3 times payment, you get a 10% discount. Only if you make the first payment between now and the next 1 week because of the holiday season, and just to make it interesting for you. Once you do that and you have the registration, again, you can go to the website that I have there on the screen, or you can just send a text or WhatsApp to that, and then you will be able to do that. So this question says, how can one shaping their minds and vision in the place of uncertainty, like in countries where politics changes, like monthly and long-term plans are always not feasible due to constant changes? I like that question. I like that question. It doesn't matter which country you are, the scope and circumstances are always changing, guys. And that's why you need to be agile. Again, which is the reason why you need to work with someone or a group of people that can help to navigate the bends. I'll give you a better way to describe it. It's like driving a car, right? When you are driving a car, imagine, for those of you that are drivers today, could your instructor ever really have given you all the scenarios that can play out while driving? Could they have? Could they have told you there will be a bump, and after the bump, there will be a ditch, and after the ditch, one child is going to cross the road? Can they give you all of that? No, because there are just uncertainties in this world. So what does your instructor teach you when you're driving the car? They teach you the principles and the common sense approach. But when you are driving, you now need to become very agile, that situations and circumstances will pop up and you are able to make changes and adapt very easily. So to Nwaka, that would be the answer to your question. Being able to make changes very quickly. Once the principles and the fundamentals are understood, I promise you, because in that uncertainty that you're talking about, people are becoming millionaires every day. People are becoming successful every day, right? You know, COVID-19 came, nobody planned for it, but you know, a lot of people became super successful by it. So again, it is the principle, the fundamentals, and making changes along the way. Fantastic. Somebody said, how can I become a paid speaker? Join my mentorship program. I like that one. Join my mentorship program and let's talk about it and see how we can help. Somebody said, I'm currently unemployed. Can I still join? Absolutely. In fact, the more reason why you should join. In fact, let me take it another way. Somebody said, well, I don't have money for the mentorship program. In fact, you are the one that should join, that doesn't have the money. You go and look for it and join because you need it the most. I told you guys that in 1 year, I paid over $100,000. You think I don't need the money? Oh my God, I could have used that to buy myself a new car. Do you know how many cars, the type of car I could have bought for $100,000 and just enjoy my life, or take vacation and just fly first class? Absolutely. But I did what? I invested that money because I'm playing the long game rather than the short game. And that's what I will encourage somebody to do, right? So if you are currently unemployed, you are wondering, should you join? Absolutely, you should join, and let's chart a path for you to do that. Let me see if I have any other question I can quickly take, and then we can wrap this up. Well, once again, I want to appreciate every one of you that joined. We will send the replay of this recording and the details to you via email. I want to say a big thank you to you all. I know that 2025 will be a different year for you, but we got to put in some work, guys. We got to put in the work to make sure that we are not part of the statistics. You remember the statistics that I shared with you at the early part of this seminar? You don't want to be that of that statistics. You want to be a part of the people that their story changed. And 1 year can look like a decade. for someone. I appreciate you all. I want to appreciate my team that put all of this together and made sure that this happened today. Thank you all very much. Wish you a Merry Christmas and a very prosperous 2025. And have a beautiful holiday, everybody. Thank you, and bye-bye.